sometimes your predictions go all the way through. Sometimes they don't. But there's a lot of times when you're happy that you was wrong about certain things.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just going to keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters, as you can see right there on your screen. If this is your first time watching, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, and thank you very much for tuning in. Before we get into today's show, let me throw the ticker up there so you know where you can find us. Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling Realm. Like us on Facebook. We got you covered over there. We also got a Facebook group. Let me know if you try to get in and can't. And of course, subscribe right here on YouTube. And if you're on Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Pandora Podcast, Google Podcast, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and leave a review. 5 stars, please. Speaking of 5 stars, folks, I told y'all that Sasha and Bayley would deliver. I told y'all that this match could possibly be better than the one in Brooklyn. And guess what? It was. We have a brand new WWE Raw Women's Champion, and her name is Sasha Banks. Sasha defeated Bayley in an epic Hell in a Cell match, and I'm going to watch that match again. I was going to watch it, but I was like, no, I'm going to go ahead and record this show and then get it posted, but I'm going to watch it again. First of all, let's look at it from a storytelling aspect, would you? Sasha comes out there. She's in all white gear. New gear is fresh. Takes me back to WrestleMania 25 when Shawn Michaels had the all white gear. Of course, he was ascending. He was coming down. And then Bayley comes out and she has on all black. And I was like, oh boy, good versus evil. And Bayley, the Undertaker was all black and he was coming up from hell. But you look at this. Sasha was the boss. Now, we knew that these two ladies would deliver. Simply, they're best friends. They love wrestling just as much as you and I. They love the business. I figure, I listened to them with Stone Cold Steve Austin a while ago, and they sat down and they looked at the match, and they saw it was their match at TakeOver Brooklyn. And they was just talking about different things they could have did. And as I'm watching the match, if y'all remember, if you listen to this, you remember Bayley has said that she wanted to do something different. She felt, the hugging and all that was kind of getting stale. She mentioned maybe she would cut her hair or something. And I'm going to watch the 24. I think they did a spotlight. I didn't watch it on hers or WWE Chronicle. But I watched this match and I'm sitting there and I'm just enjoying and I'm taking it in. Now, it was something special at TakeOver Brooklyn. Like, we knew they were friends behind the scenes, but at that time, the 4 horsewomen were kind of taking control of the brand and then moving up. Sasha had already went up to Raw, so it was really Bayley was next in line. Now, on camera, from my memory serves me correctly, they didn't have a friendship. Bayley was trying to run around and hug people. I believe Sasha's her best friend was Charlotte Flair, though. But now we get to 2020. Sasha and Bayley, they had their friendship. You remember Sasha introduced Bayley to the main roster. Then we go to, move further down the line. They win the tag titles. After they had the issue of, they had friendship issues, but they won the tag titles. And then Sasha left. And Bayley kind of left in limbo, wins Money in the Bank, becomes women's champion. And around this time, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe Bayley will do cut a promo and say, it's Sasha's fault or something like that. Well, Sasha comes back and gets Bayley to turn heel. And these two go on an epic run just best of friends. So when this happened, and we knew it would, we saw the little subtle shots here and there. And of course, everybody thought Sasha would turn on Bayley. And I told y'all, I kept telling y'all, no, let's see heel Bayley. We've seen heel Sasha in this role. Let's see heel Bayley. And I will admit, I know I wanted to see this go to WrestleMania. I do think that if Sasha had been on the shelf for a little while, came back, won the Royal Rumble, they could have had a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania. Boom, it would have been great. But I am more than satisfied with the results here. Even if Bayley would have won, so when Sasha went up against Asuka, I had that desire for her to win the championship. Man, I really want this. I really, I just wanted a good match, and I knew I was going to get that. And I was, shout out to my friend Ashley Baker. We was watching, I was on the phone with her catching up, and then boom, this happens. I was like, we got a new champion. And it just gave me that super excitement. I gave a shout out to one of my newfound wrestling buddies, King Chloe. Y'all know him on Instagram. But yeah, we finally got connected, and I saw his, he got really excited. Now, everybody knows he's a Sasha fan, so congrats to him. Shout out to Britt, my sister, it's Britt Waters. Make sure y'all follow her. We talked about this on her show, and one of the things I did say was I was nervous because we all know in wrestling memory, if the person goes up on a go home show, then usually they're doing the job. Usually they lose it. And God darn it, WWE proved me wrong. And guess what? I loved every bit of it. So where do we go from here? I do think that maybe we'll have a series of matches. I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Banks on this one, though. My boy Antonio Banks. He wanted to see Sasha win the title at the Elimination Chamber, and then Bayley brag about how she could never defend the title successfully, and said that would be a story. So I think with Banks' concern, I think we'll get that earlier. I think at Survivor Series or whatever they do in this is October. Yeah, Survivor Series. I think Sasha may have an issue, and Bayley may say something like, "Well, you can't have a successful title reign," and we'll see her hold on. But then again, we are getting set for the brand versus brand matches if they still do it that way. So then obviously you have Sasha, Io, and Asuka. That's another match. So it's a lot of options you can go here. I really do believe that we will not see Sasha drop the title right away. But I could be wrong, because let's not forget, Becky Lynch, before she won the title at WrestleMania, she had a title run before that. Remember, folks, she had a title run. So it is possible Sasha could lose the title and then have her run later. But I think you've stretched this out as far as possible. The emotions that went into the match, like I said, the storytelling was amazing. And, with Sasha doing the patented kick when she had Bayley in the boss lock. The bank statement, and when she kept doing the kick, right, that was taking you back to TakeOver, and that's what got Bayley to tap out inside. We're doing that with a chair, so it's so many dynamics. This is gonna be great. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did, and if you didn't, well, you just don't like wrestling. You don't appreciate a good story. Speaking of good stories, oh my gosh. If they didn't go one level before, they went to another level now. And that is Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Said all that to mess up, right? I quit match. Winner. If Roman wins, he's kicking Jey and Jimmy out. And of course, they did like they did. Hell in a Cell. They took it to the levels they could, and Roman was just beating him with no mercy. And to the point the referee tried to say, come on, man, just let him. I'm about to call a match. And he said, no, only I control. He throws out the ref. And then all the officials come in there, which was kind of annoying because it is an I Quit match. That wasn't needed, in my opinion. However, when Jimmy got in there, and I heard somebody say this, maybe it was in one of my group chats, or maybe it was on a live where I was with Britt Waters. Maybe, but I heard somebody say he gonna do something to Jimmy to get him to say I quit. And sure enough, and I mean that makes sense. Jey Uso loves his brother more than he loves himself in a sense, because he was willing to take that punishment, but he loved his brother so much that he didn't want him to take the punishment. And the thing, what I really enjoy about it was the fact that he did take it there. He wouldn't, but when they went during the match, you heard him constantly yelling, saying, telling he loved him, but telling him, like, just stay in your place. And this whole thing, that's how a family matchup should be as we evolve in wrestling, right? Bret and Owen, they didn't need to do that. Theirs was, they did it in the promos, but then they just went out there and tried to out-wrestle each other. The Hardy Boys, they did it their way, and Roman and Jay did it their way. And then just credit Roman Reigns, ask him, so what has he become? The tears, just to lure Jimmy in and make him, put him in a chokehold to cause his brother to finally quit the match. So watch that match again. I mean, Hell in a Cell delivered. And I got to take you to our WWE Championship match. Folks, we got a brand new WWE Champion for the 14th time. The Legend Killer, the Viper, Randy Orton, defeats Drew McIntyre. Now, when they went on the cell, I know a lot of people thought, oh boy, here we go. But come on now, we know Randy ain't jumping off no cell. Let's just be real. And neither was Drew. And then that moveset, we ain't getting no RKO. It's too dangerous. I don't even know how you can properly plan it, but nah, that wasn't happening. I mean, we see when Randy Orton RKO Daniel Bryan, when him and Batista did the RKO Batista bomb, and Daniel Bryan hit his back. I mean, Randy Orton hit his back on the camera. So, but, I mean, they just went there, man. And this, with him falling, and then really Drew just kind of like, coughing up the blood, losing his breath, and still giving it all he could. And in the backslide, when that didn't work, that was a wrap. And Randy hit that RKO out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. Once again, he's the champ. Now, I told y'all. And like I said, I bring back a Brit show the other day. She said, a lot of people ain't rocking with you with that. And I said, look, Randy wins. We can see Drew go to another level. Shout out to Drew McIntyre. I mean, an incredible WWE Championship reign. I know a lot of our fears was, I heard some reports, I'm hoping they were false, that Brock Lesnar was coming back. So I was like, oh boy, here we go again. But no, we don't need that. Definitely don't need that. But what I did like was the fact that Randy Orton won the championship. Now I want to see what happens tonight on Raw. Where does Drew McIntyre go from here? Because I believe he's going to another level, folks. He's going to go to another level, and he's going to be ready to take out Randy Orton and gain his title back. And then guess what? Even if he wanted the night on Raw, I wouldn't be upset. I don't think it's going to happen that soon. Probably won't happen. I mean, the Survivor Series is known for the WWE Championship changing hands. Even though I don't think that's going to happen with him. But this is definitely a wait to see. You have a couple of new faces on Raw, a couple of new heels. So Drew could get the title back. And like I said before, work with an AJ Styles or somebody. Time will tell. But then, shout out. I'll just mention this. Hurt Business getting a win over one of them people from Retribution. Elias getting a win over Jeff Hardy. I think that was via disqualification. But we got to close with this. We have a new Money in the Bank briefcase holder. Yes. The Miz. Now, JBL was a full-fledged heel during Law and Otis. And he got what he wanted, because let's be real. JBL would, as much as he hated The Miz before, would rather see The Miz holding a briefcase than Otis. But, for Otis to lose the briefcase, I know there are a lot of people who are excited and happy because they just couldn't see him in that light. He got the briefcase because we was in the middle of a pandemic, and it was so much going on. And check out previous shows where you can, the SummerSlam show, you can hear the real Dwayne Allen really break it down. But when I look at it, I'm like, you know what? okay, let's see where he goes from here. I like the Miz holding the briefcase. I wanted this a while ago. I mean, Miz is somebody that said he wants to main event another WrestleMania. He believes that nobody believes in him. But he is WWE Champion material. And now I got to give a huge shout out to my boy 2 Champs from the Big Gold Belt podcast. He brought up the fact that he didn't think The Miz would go to SmackDown because of his show and that being on Fox. This was last year before the draft. He says, no way they're going to be promoting that show. Well, he went, but now he's on USA. And now has the briefcase. To me, it's only a matter of time. I mean, that could happen tonight too. It's a matter of time before he's WWE champion. He even said, like, to the Universal champion, to the WWE champion, you better be ready because I'm coming. You won't know it. And he's finally got his swagger back. It took a while. I gotta look. He might be like Kane as far as a great distance between championship reigns. And what I mean is your first championship, not The Rock having the title in 2002, losing it. Well, I should say losing the title in 2002 and winning it back in 2013. He don't count because, he went away. But maybe like Kane or Undertaker. When Undertaker lost in 92, didn't get the belt back until 97. It's going to be a great distance. We're talking a 9-year difference if Miz wins the championship before 2020 is up. Actually, yeah, 2020 is up. It'll be 9 years, almost 10 years if he goes into next year with the briefcase. So, yeah, somebody let me know, will this be the longest in the modern day? Will this be the longest in between reigns in the modern day? And you can just describe modern day however you feel like it. But Miz is definitely somebody who is Money in the Bank material. Definitely somebody I'm excited to see with the briefcase. But I do think he'll cash it in on a face. I don't see him doing that on Randy Orton. I mean, history could repeat itself. It was November 2010 when he cashed in, the night after the Survivor Series, when he cashed in on Orton. So Orton has the title again. Who knows? He could do it tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know, what did you think of WWE Hell in the Cell? Like I said, I enjoyed it. Congratulations to Sasha Banks winning the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, becoming I believe, 3rd Grand Slam champion. Maybe she's was it her? Yeah, I think she's the 3rd or second. Well, man, her and Bayley. Oh, Asuka. Yeah. So 3rd Grand Slam Women's champion. I mean, well deserved. She is a Hall of Famer. Oh, I gotta bring this up. I saw somebody say on Twitter that they was this generation's Trish and Lita, and I said I think they're better. Quite frankly, the reason why I think they are better is because Trish and Lita were good. They set the precedent, right? But Sasha and Bayley really came into an era where it was about they had a different standard, right? They had a different standard compared to Trish and Lita. And this is no disrespect to Trish and Lita by any means, but they had to go out there and really, really do things like compared to the men. Trish and Lita, they was just setting the precedent. They was just, the women were, okay, the women are main eventing, and their rivalry started, as valets, and Trish wasn't necessarily a wrestler. Sasha and Bayley started as wrestlers, started off at NXT, then had to outdo themselves because that match at NXT was the match of the night. Let's not act like any of Trish and Lita's matches were match of the night. By no disrespect. Let's not act like that. However, Sasha and Bayley, match of the night at Hell in the Cell, match of the night at TakeOver, and match of the night at the NXT when they had the Iron Man match. So this rivalry, and then for what they did, bringing the tag team championships back after they had been gone for decades, bringing the tag team championships back, winning them again, both having the Raw, SmackDown, and the tag team titles at once. That's the best tandem in women's wrestling. Maybe, and see, it's kind of hard because Charlotte Flair is obviously, you know, in a league too. And you could dare say a league of her own. You know, quite frankly, the 4 horsewomen of the WWE they're just at the top tiers. Everybody's measured to them in one way, shape, or form. If you want to be somebody who's just a great, pure wrestler, you're measured to Bayley. If you want to be the superstar crossover, you're measured to Charlotte. If you want to be the boss, but who can also mix it in the ring and sell for your opponent, make your opponent look good, you measure it up to Sasha. And if you want to be that in-your-face brawler, you measured up to Becky Lynch. So the 4 horsewomen are in a league. They are the league, bottom line. So that's what I say. Sasha and Bayley, it's all them, man. And quite frankly, I cannot wait. I'm telling you, I can't wait till Charlotte Flair gets back, because I would love to see her and Sasha have another run. I want to see Charlotte beat her, but I want to see that rivalry going again. It was good then, but let's not act like both women aren't better now. So, folks, that'll do it for this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think about WWE Hell in a Cell. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. So long, everybody.